Because I used to remember.
income and then
Yeah, I don't know, because I
this pulls out.
said I would.
No, it doesn't.
So I got that out this Friday.
Oh, that one's not working?
No, but then I kept thinking,
Hey, Ben? Would you mind just reading this? This was sent to me by Gideon. I don't know if you got one or not.
You talk about.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. We're going to stand for the pledge, please.
Okay.
What's going on here?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Alice, when you have a minute, can you do roll call?
Yes. Alderwoman Bartleson,
Here?
Alderman Coretta,
Here.
Alderman Vandermeer,
Here.
Alderman Deskin,
Here.
Alderman Smith,
Here.
Alderman Gilogly, Alderman Capitona, and Alderman Petrakos.
Present.
Thank you.
All right,
6 present.
okay, sounds good. I know Chris called in, said he got stuck at work. I don't know anything about JR, but Steve, our police chaplain, asked to say a prayer this morning, please, or this evening, please.
God, we just want to take this time to thank you for our great city of Lockport and how you're blessing it and how we live in peace and safety. And I just thank you for all the leaders we have here. And again, our fire and police personnel, Lord. I just ask that you would keep a hedge of protection around them as they go on calls, when they go to different places, that you would give them wisdom and guidance and direction. And I just ask for our council people here tonight, Lord, that you would give them guidance and direction and wisdom and making the correct decisions to lead our city. And thanks for everything. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Congratulations to Alderman Vandermeer's new son, Jacob.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Bravo. Everybody's doing okay? Yeah, great. Excellent, man. That's three boys, right? Always election time.
Yeah, around election time.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I don't know what that means.
He's up for re-election in 2 years.
Yeah, so we'll welcome your fourth son. All right, very good.
Mayor, if I may, with the members of the council, I'd also like to introduce Brent Can, our new Director of Public Works, who you may see a stranger at the dais here, and our newest employee. Just wanted to introduce him to you all. I'm sure you'll be dealing with him day to day as we go forward.
Yeah, we're looking forward to working with you, Brent. I think bring some balance to the force, yes. I think Joe and Amy have done an outstanding job over these last 4 years, kind of doing a lot of different jobs, and having a public works director now to kind of have the balance so that they're not taking all the burden and splitting it between the two of them, I think is going to be really add to the team, and we're looking forward to having you on board. So,
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
all right, so our wrestlers, holy cow, are you guys even all here? Because I'm thinking this is like old hat for you now. You guys are like, oh man, we got to go to city council. Yeah, please come on up, Josh, and bring your guys with you. Fellas, this is truly our honor, okay? We thank you for coming out here and blessing us with your presence. I honest to God mean that. I think what you guys have done is absolutely phenomenal. Undefeated season, right?
Yep.
Can you tell it? I don't want to tell the story. You need to tell the story.
Well, first, thank you for having us, and we have a chunk of our team here. Some of them are practicing right now.
They can't stop.
They can't, no. But so, like Mayor Street said, we were undefeated this year. We went 29-0, which set a couple records for us as in terms of wins, undefeated seasons. According to unofficial Lockport historian Kurt Herron, there's only 2 teams in Lockport history that have gone undefeated and won a state championship. So we're happy to join that group. We lost no dual meets. Yeah, we won every dual meet by 10 or more points. Our closest duel was by 11 in the quarterfinals of the state tournament, and it was a fun, pretty dominant season. 12 of our 14 individuals qualified for the state tournament, setting a 3A state record, and we had 7 state placers.
Just want to get my certificate. Sorry, I forgot to bring it down. Well, fellas, I just thank you again for your accomplishments. The dedication in wrestling is amazing. I mean, I don't think there's a harder sport that takes more out of you and takes more dedication than wrestling. And maybe I'm just biased because I used to wrestle, but it's just my experience and observation. And how come you guys get younger every year? I don't understand how that works. Everybody looks younger every year. So maybe there's something I should think through about that. But listen, thank you guys. I just want to say thank you. Congratulations, man. You guys all rest of the same weight class. I don't understand you. So here's a certificate of just acknowledgement and thanks for all that you guys do. Recognition and presented to the 2017 Lockport Township Wrestling High School team on this 19th day of April 2017 by the City of Lockport for placing first in the State of Illinois Finals and going undefeated this past season and breaking a school record. Your dedication, loyalty, and commitment to your team and school are honorable, and your achievement is commendable. Thank you all for your hard work and devotion. Your community is very, very proud of you. And make it official. Thanks, Josh. Awesome. Crazy stuff, man. You guys, anything from liaisons tonight?
I was going to mention something. This isn't really liaison because I had nothing to do with it, but Lisa notified me that we, as expected, right, we come to take this for granted, but audits are actually a pretty big deal. And, you know, Lisa, or the team always wins awards and has no problems with the audits, but another successful audit, right? No adjustments required.
No adjustments.
Which again, to us, just sounds like commonplace up here, but there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that Lisa and the team obviously excel at. So another year with great results.
Yeah, I really can't say enough about our financial team. I mean, I think all our departments do great jobs, but you guys, thank you so much for keeping the money organized and in the black, and good job.
The audit will be presented to City Council in the June 7th meeting.
Oh, your favorite thing of the year.
My favorite meeting of the year.
I'll
That's
keep Darren
right.
awake during the presentation.
I'll say, what was it, Jason?
Yeah, all right. So what do we got on here? So any other liaison stuff? We all good? Okay.
No.
All right. City clerk.
Yes, in your packet, I provided you with the resolution 17045, which is a review and release of executive session minutes from January 2011 through December 2013. I put them on the committee of whole, but I also put them on the regular city council meeting so that they can be approved this evening if anyone has any objections or comments.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then Pam, what do you got? PZ1.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, Council. This evening, we have Lockport Gateway LLC. They have submitted a preliminary final development plan for a 7,900 square foot multi-tenant building, which will include Panera Bread as one of their tenants. This is to be located at the Lockport Square, Lot 5, which is that lot at the intersection of Edelman and 159th Street. So immediately across the street from McDonald's. This went to the Plan Commission on April 11th. There were many items discussed by the Plan Commission. I have outlined them for you in the report. The two areas that staff had sought direction from the commission was with respect to the design of the sidewalk that connects to the public sidewalk on Edelman Drive, as well as cross-access. After very thorough discussion, it was determined that cross-access is really not feasible. The overall property, Lot 5, has some very severe grade issues. Of all the lots out there, that is the one that has taken on all the grading issues. And in order to provide cross-access, there would need to be a pretty lengthy area designated for that in order to make the grades work. So we, with the help and direction of the commission, concurred that it probably isn't feasible in this particular situation to allow cross-access. As we move forward in that development and any other kind of development that is similar with having adjacent lots next to it, cross-access will definitely be encouraged and provided where it can be. In this particular case, it's just not going to work. The design of the sidewalk had several different issues. Also, the design was predicated on the overall grading. Our engineer, development engineering consultant, J.J. Bennis, had recommended a particular design that would eliminate the need for a handrail. However, the design was really not desirable. The commission would just really wanted staff and the applicant to work together to come up with a design that would work. Kind of based on the discussion that the Plan Commission had, we kind of just are allowing the applicant to include the design that he originally proposed. The only concern would be that the handrail could become maybe an attractive nuisance for skateboarders because it will be lower, and having had a son who was a skateboarder, anything that represents a railing or anything that could be rode was. In any case, when staff presented to the commission, there were many outstanding items. And because of timing, to keep this project moving along and get Panera Bread here as quickly as possible, we initially had recommended that prior to your final consideration that many of these items needed to be addressed. However, the commission directed the applicant to work with staff and get these items addressed prior to this evening's meeting. When I sent the report out, I had advised all of you that I would be coming forth with a status update, which I emailed to you all this morning as well as left at your places this evening. And I will say that with a lot of diligent effort on the part of the applicant as well as the staff, the applicant was able to address the majority of items. And if you'd like, I can go through them very briefly with you. The applicant is here this evening if you wanted him to do a presentation first before I went through this, or I...
Well, why didn't the applicant come up?
Okay.
We'd love to welcome them, and
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Adam Fursell. I'm a partner with Lockport Gateway, LLC. We are the contract purchaser of Outlot 5. I also have my team members with me here tonight. Jason Berg from Panera Bread, Jim Puritan, a representative of the seller and the master developer for the whole project, as well as some of my internal team members. We also, Scott, we also have Scott DiGilio, who is our civil engineer. We're lucky that he's worked with our team on these dual tenant Panera buildings, and also was the engineer for Outlot 7 in this development as well.
well, I just want to say welcome, and we're all very excited that you're here and that Panera's looking to build here in Lockport, so thank you.
Thank you. We're really excited to bring this project. It took a little bit of convincing to kind of be in the early stages of this development of the project, but we're so pleased with the building that we've designed, the tenant that we've been able to bring, and we're really excited. We've also enjoyed working closely with staff and your consultants, and we really appreciate all the efforts to date to bring this to fruition. With that, I will briefly take you through the presentation.
Do you guys have screens?
Yeah, there's nothing on our screens yet.
I guess I'll leave it here. Okay. So, as you can see, okay, sorry.
Not seeing right
We're all going to go sit out there because our screens aren't up.
Yeah, so we're trying to figure
At least I am.
Are your screens working?
No.
All right, lay it on.
The audience.
Thank you. So we think we've designed a pretty handsome building here. Panera wanted to be a little bit more distinguished, so they added a little bit more ephes and surround around their storefront and their space. So they're going to be on the looking at the project from 159th, the right side, which is the western side of the site. And then we do not have a named tenant. We are currently negotiating with the future tenant, but we don't have a commitment at this time, and we're still under a strict confidentiality. So we do expect it to be leased, signed lease that we can announce to everybody prior to us breaking ground. So we do not anticipate this suite being vacant. Next slide's just a boundary survey. This is, again, Outlot 5 in the Lockport Square subdivision. This is the lot closest to Edelman Drive. So it's kind of point position outlot. So we love the location of it. However, there is major engineering challenges with this. For a pretty flat state, this site has a 12-foot grade change east to west over a 270-foot frontage. So with that type of grade, and you have a flat building and a maximum slope in the parking lot of 5%, we basically were forced to tabletop this outlot even more so. And retaining walls are required, and so a lot of our site planning, a lot of the constraints really was based on the grade challenges we had. Our seller, the master developer, was nice enough to allow us to encroach about 3 feet onto their property to the front of us, so 159th Street. With that, we didn't have to do as massive of retaining walls. We were able to do the segmental block, which is in conformance with the other retaining walls out there. It also looks better. It's also less costly than having to do a 10-foot cast in place with footings and foundation and all that. So we're real happy, real pleased that we're able to make the retaining walls work and be attractive and solve a lot of the grade issues we had out here. This is a close-up of the site plan. This is a very good picture of how this site lays out. Again, when you're setting your grades, we wanted our drive aisles to obviously straddle the building. So we had to meet the grade of the existing internal roadway on the east and on the west end. And the further apart it gets, the steeper that, that grade change becomes. So the way that we were able to solve that from an engineering standpoint was by having the western drive aisle lower than essentially the rest of our site. So I'll try to, if you could see my mouse, right here along the drive-through lane, this is actually an internal retaining wall. It's about a 3 to 4 foot grade change between where the building and the other drive sits and then where this drive comes in. We had to disconnect the back of the site. When I say disconnect, meaning we couldn't provide circulation 360 degrees around because of this internal retaining wall. The benefit of that, we actually were happy to see that we were able to really tuck in and kind of hide this trash enclosure, which there's never a good spot for trash enclosures. We think we were able to kind of tuck and sneak it in back here. And then the back of the trash enclosure doubles as a retaining wall. We also don't like having drive-through traffic mixing with parking lot circulation traffic. So having its own dedicated drive-through like this is really nice. We're also able to designate a pretty large loading delivery zone. And we were able to provide the auto turn exhibits that we did not have a plan commission to show that the trash removal and loading trucks can easily go in and out here. We also, based on a plan commission comment, we were able to widen this drive by a foot, going from a 24-foot standard to a 25-foot. And by the way we were able to find that extra footage was by, we actually narrowed the building again by about 3 feet, and we were able to make that up again in the drive aisle, and then wider sidewalks. So now all of our sidewalks are at least 5 feet, which is another code requirement. This is kind of a blowout of the previous picture, but I really like the bottom where you could kind of see, looking at it from the internal road towards 159th, you can see down here really a good illustration of how we're able to absorb that 12 feet of grade change through our site. The bollard detail, there was a comment on that on the notes. We're doing safety yellow in the back of the building to shield meters and curbs and building edges and things like that. And then in the front of the building, especially in the patio area, we're going to do a decorative black bollard that'll have iron rod fence in between, and we have a picture of that as well. That's just another blow up of the floor plan. I'll breeze through that. This is our landscape plan. We're really pleased with the landscape we were able to provide. We met the ordinance, and we had a nice comment from the plan commissioner that is a landscaper. And he was very pleased with it and made a very important comment of, you have this beautiful plan, but it's about maintaining it. So we do have, it will be irrigated. Irrigation's only half the battle. The other half of the battle is making sure you're keeping things trimmed and fertilized and things like that. This, I don't expect you to analyze, but this is our grading plan. And you can see the amount of work and the amount of grading that's going into this site. All those numbers up there represents different elevations. So you can see the amount of work that went into that. And there's still more to go. We got to, finalize things before we're able to pull a permit. This is the four-sided elevations. You can see we're not doing any exposed CMU, concrete masonry unit. It's all brick veneer and ephes. And then we were able to kind of break up the building both horizontally and vertically to make it interesting 360 degrees around it. This is the monument sign that's very similar to the monument sign that's already out there for Outlot 7. This is a detail of what the fence will look like. It might not look exactly like that. It's still being designed, but that's an example. Those are the planters that we intend to use because of some maintenance issues on Lot 7 with mulch being so close to doors. Mulch and water are getting into those suites. So we thought a better solution and alternative would be attractive planter boxes that are permanent, that'll be planted all 4 seasons. This, again, we're not going for sign approval today. Panera and our other tenant will apply for that separately. We understand that that's a condition. This is a building that we just built for Panera in South Elgin on Randall Road. So we assume that it's going to look very close to this sign. This is the auto turn that we neglected to have ready at Plan Commission. You can see here that the truck works. And then this is for the drive-through with a long car. And that's really it. We're here to answer questions. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to it.
All right, sorry about the disturbance of having to get out of our chairs.
Little exercise.
Yeah, it looks great. Like I said, very excited. I think planning and zoning did a good job, being detailed in their questions. And you guys have any thoughts or comments?
I just say welcome to Panera, and
Thank you.
and I can't think of a person in town that isn't looking forward to you opening up. What about May 19th, 20th?
I'm going to snap my finger and it be open.
Is there some kind of a date that you're shooting for?
Yeah, 2017. I mean, we want to get going right away. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Is this an outdoor seating area?
Yeah, so there will be an outdoor patio. Sorry, I didn't get into that detail, but Panera will absolutely have an outdoor patio area.
Wonderful. Good weather?
Just more out of curiosity, this is a franchise store, correct?
It is a franchise. Jason Berg, who's here, works for Hammer Enterprises, which is the franchisee. They've got 39 stores in Chicagoland. I think they're the only franchisee in Chicago. And they're I think, personally, I think that they're better operators than corporate, but you didn't hear that from me.
No, these are public meetings, right?
Very good.
Find it now. To me, I think this building looks great. I think the work you guys put in from the council and the planning and zoning, right? We had a lot of open issues, but you guys closed a lot of those open issues. A couple more little things, just please keep working with Pam and Kimberly and get these things resolved and for next city council meeting and stuff, and
Absolutely.
get those things going. And I'll share some of my comments too with Pam when you guys are going through, but they're nothing crazy.
Okay, thank you.
All right, fantastic. Anything else?
Is there anything that the gentleman wanted to?
Well, I think he was, in case we had a question for franchise, but, yeah, I would just put it on our consent agenda.
Absolutely.
Good. We'll get it through. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot. We
Thank
look
you.
forward to it.
All right, Mr. Ben Benson.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council, and I apologize for the technical difficulties. We don't have any other AV audiovisual items on the council, so we should be okay, but I've been told by text we need a new controller box in the podium. So a few months ago, it was a controller box up there. Now it's a controller box there. Pretty soon we'll have everything new, and we won't have any problems. CA1 in your packet is a proposal for preliminary services related to the establishment of the quiet zones. If you recall, a few months back, we had an agreement with Douceur, and we actually had a closing with them, and they were able to give us a check for $25,000. That is enough for us to start the process. We're going to be engaging the rail companies and start our kickoff session in regards to heading down the path towards rail crossings and quiet zones for the CN and the BNSF at the City of Lockport. I do have HR Green here if you have any specific questions, but there's a proposal in his packet, including a timeline that we also shared when we approved the Douceur agreement, if you recall that. And everything should be able to sync here with the next stages with Douceur as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to moving forward on this. So I think that'll really make some dynamic changes in our in the western half of our city here. So,
This is an item we can do consent on if anyone has any objections.
all good with that?
Yes.
All right, please.
Thank you. Next item, CA2, is a renewal and amendment number 2 of an intergovernmental agreement with Will County for operating a recycling center at Prime Boulevard facility. The first year, we were the only recycling program in Will County left, basically, that was partnering with them. This additional agreement is very similar. They are providing staffing on site. Our staff doesn't have to be burdened with certain dates where they come in a couple days a week to take recycling. We were getting a stipend of $15,000 a year that first year, which was quite a bit, but we were the only center in Will County, so we were a little concerned about manning hours. It's proved out to work out fine. We've checked with staff at Public Works. It's not a burden. So they have about 6 or 7 of these in county now, so everyone's getting the same amount with the same IGA. It's a lower amount, it's $6,000 a year, but again, we feel it's still providing a benefit to our residents, and we're making a little money on it, and it's at one of our facilities, so. I'm seeing.
And there's no real cost to us on this.
No,
so
we were concerned the first year because we didn't want our staff time on it. But they have provided not 1 but 2 part-time employees on site for those days, so we really haven't had to, other than store the container truck that takes these recycled goods, so.
Okay.
I'd just like to comment, I have used that system,
Sure.
pulled up there, and they're more than happy to take whatever you have, show them your driver's license, works real well, so
Yeah.
I think we're really fortunate to have this in our town.
You do have to prove that you're a Will County resident, so.
Correct,
absolutely.
right.
Thank you for mentioning that. And that's another item we can do consent if everyone's okay with.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with
Extending
that.
it.
All good? All right.
Thank you.
All right. Surplus property. We just still have too much stuff, huh?
Yes, we're requesting permission to have a declaration of surplus property for 8 vehicles that are currently under the police department's ownership. 6 of the 8 vehicles were awarded to us pursuant to state civil asset forfeiture for various offenses. None of those vehicles have any kind of mechanical value to the police department that we can use them. So we're asking just for permission to declare them surplus and auction them publicly. 1 vehicle, a GMC Envoy, was purchased with city funds. It was purchased used, to be used as an unmarked vehicle for our DEA task force officer. That vehicle now has a leaking steering rack and 134,000 miles. We don't want to invest the $1,200 in it that it would cost to repair it. We've already replaced that vehicle with a second seized vehicle that we put into department service. So we're looking to surplus that vehicle. And then we have a 1996 John Deere tractor that functions as a snowplow and also has a mower attachment to it. We don't even know if the mower attachment works. It hasn't been used for years. We did speak to Public Works previously, and they had no use for the mower as well. So we'd look to declare that surplus because that function has been replaced by the Gator that we purchased in 2016.
Okay. And then what do we do with surplus property? Is there?
It's all sent to public auction.
Okay.
And then depending on where the vehicle came from, the 6 seized vehicles, those proceeds have to go into the restricted funds for state seizure. The other funds will be returned to the general revenue.
Okay. I believe Alderman Deskin inquired about creating the Bluesmobile out of.
That's
Possible?
right.
Yeah.
I did. Just 5 seconds ago. Speaker.
All right, man. Sounds good. Any questions, concerns about this? All right, that's something we need to put on a consent agenda to declare it?
Well, yes, that's
Okay.
right.
All right, and then we'll talk about our project over at the police station.
Yes.
If I can jump in on that, Mayor, thank you. The item on your agenda is back on committee of the whole, was at committee of the whole at the last meeting. This is basically a request for additional funding and proposed construction for the Lockport Police Station. When the original bids came in, it was a little bit higher than expected. They started try to cut a few things back, but they also wanted to put some alternates in. At the end of the day, after the alternates were eliminated, they're still, projecting it to be about $286,831.60. That does include a $20,000 contingency. I want to thank Alderman Petrakos. He's been lending some of his expertise as an architect. We've met with the contractor and added some additional provisions and having a contract, a bond, and things of those items. We are seeking approval to move forward with their current project proposal. The Lockport Police Department has $780,000 in their federal asset forfeiture account, and this project would be $286,831.60.
All right, I don't have any issues with it as is. Anybody have any questions, concerns?
Yeah, the concerns I have, there's some comments on the contract, so if we can talk about that before we execute it, there's some technicalities and stuff like that. And then I want to be very clear on that contingency, right? That's an unforeseen, right? Ben and I talked about it, that's for unforeseen conditions, not for, like we were laughing today, no more extra carpet, no more extra paint somewhere else. It's you open up a wall, found something, and you guys can bring that report back. If there's anything major, then you guys can bring it back to the council, please. If that's okay with him.
Yeah, that's good. Is this something you want on as an action item then? Do you have some unanswered questions?
No, it should be good. We'll work through the contract thing.
And we have
and
a
then-
few, I've talked to Tom today, we have a couple changes in the actual contract language, but we will have that changed and put into the packet. We can put it on consent or action, doesn't matter.
Okay.
If we have to pull it, we'll pull it. That's fine.
All right, so we'll put it on consent? All right.
Thank you.
All right, and then Pam, you're up.
Yes, this item was previously discussed at the last committee of the whole meeting. Staff is making a proposal to amend the sign code to address prohibited signs, in particular perimeter and border window lighting. As I indicated at that meeting, there are approximately 19 businesses that have some type of full or partial perimeter and border lighting. We've provided a definition of that. There was much discussion by the Committee of the Whole with respect to competition for, window lighting from business to business, leveling the playing field. A local business owner did come to speak, not necessarily in favor or not in favor, but just to kind of give her opinion about how small business relies on various options to help promote their business. Also discussed was whether or not these existing businesses were being notified either in advance or at some point in the process. Staff was directed that these businesses should be notified in advance of the council taking action. That's why it's back on the Committee of the Whole agenda this evening as opposed to the City Council agenda. I did include a draft letter which will be sent to all existing businesses if the committee approves, and they will go out tomorrow via certified mail.
Okay. Anybody have any issues with,
So this amendment actually prohibits or does a guideline to what type of lighting goes in the windows? Are
No,
we
it
saying no lighting at all in the windows?
Prohibits the perimeter and border window lighting. It does not affect any of the signage that people hang in the windows,
Okay.
whether they're the open signs that are illuminated, or those boxes that people have installed. This is just strictly the border lighting that goes around the full part of the window or a partial part of the window.
all right. Well, why don't we put it on for an action item next week?
Okay.
And then, can take it from there.
Is everyone okay with the letter?
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
Well written, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and then, Brent, you gonna take this?
Yes, yep. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. We do have one item this evening. It is in regards to our summer internship program. My understanding is that we've done this for some time. What we are come this evening to ask for would be the ability to hire 2 part-time interns. The dollar amount that is on here within the memo, I have worked with Lisa just to see if we can put a range on that, and she's allowed us to put a range. That would be the dollar amount that's on there per hour. What I've asked is to give a range so that if we do have somebody who comes in for a second or third year, we may be able to, get them up to that dollar amount that's on there. If it's somebody who's gonna come in and do maybe something that's a little less, maybe their first year, we have the ability to hire them on at a lowered per hour amount. But this person or individuals that we would look to have come in, with Bob Weir leaving, they may or may not assist with some field inspections. We also have quite a bit of filing, quite a bit of old plans that we want to get scanned in. We want to get those into our GIS system. We want to get our maps updated. So we do have a lot of different items that the interns could work on. So that is what this evening we're looking at. You can see that we do have 4 specific projects listed that we're doing here in the city. Those are all going to be done internally with internal inspection. So those would be items that, again, that we are looking to in-house construction management on. And again, this person may or may not, but that's what we're looking for this evening.
Okay, thoughts, questions, concerns?
No, I always felt like these things were really good for the community, these type of jobs. Just kind of, lets people know that City of Lockport's willing to work with individuals, bring them some experience, good for resume for in the future. So I always was a proponent of this stuff like this. I think it works good.
Thank you.
All right. My only concern would be just for inspections, make sure we have some senior staff with them. I don't want anybody feeling like interns are going to handle an inspection on their own. That, for me, is about training. The rest of the stuff is work that's, perfect stuff for interns, but that's my only concern.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Just something we need,
We don't really need an action item. We just usually run personnel items by you just to make sure we're on the right path. So no vote, and we'll come back. We'll let Brent go ahead and post and see what kind of resumes they have and interview and select who they want.
okay. I would like to mention the passing of Mayor Tim Murphy. That was tragic news. It was shocking news, meaning it was not expected. I know Tim had some health issues, but it really struck me hard when I heard the news. I think Tim did a lot of really good things for the city of Lockport that I think sometimes have gone underappreciated. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say a lot of the things that we have going positively here in Lockport had their roots in Tim Murphy, whether it was really kind of modernizing and updating our city staff, or even assembling these parcels here at Lockport Square. That is a monumental task remember how difficult it was for us to try to get all those properties together to fix the parking lot. It just took one holdout to throw the whole thing into a mess. And so, you know, Tim was instrumental in getting that whole Lockport Square properties assembled. And you know, through no fault of he or the council, the 2008 recession hit just as that was about to take off, and it really put it in a bind. But as we saw today, we're starting to see that come around. But this would not have happened at all without Tim Murphy's efforts on that and other things. So my heartfelt condolences to his wife Kelly and his mom Mary Ann, who still lives here in town, and it just really struck me hard. So.
Sad.
All right. Any other comments or anything, new business? All right, then we'll look for a motion to adjourn, City Council.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, Alderman Peretta, Alderman Vanderveer, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we can just jump right in, you guys? We're good? Okay. Alice, can I have a roll call when you're ready?
Sure. Just going to switch up the meetings. Alderman Petracos?
Present.
Alderman Capadonis absent. Alderman Gillogly's absent. Alderman Smith?
Here.
Alderman Deskin?
Here.
Alderman Vandermeer?
Here.
Alderman Peretta?
Here.
And Alderwoman Bartleson.
Here.
6 present.
All right, my friends, can we have a motion for a consent agenda tonight?
Make a motion.
Alderman Smith, seconded by
I'll second.
Alderman Vandermeer. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, our consent agenda for tonight is the April 5th regular city council meeting minutes, our committee of the whole meeting minutes from the same day, payroll period ending April 9th, our various bills, Resolution 17041, which is the temporary chairperson succession plan for mayoral duties, approval of a license agreement between the City of Lockport and the Public Landing Restaurant for use of the Lincoln Landing for catered events, Resolution 17042. We had some minor amendments to the final development plan for Lockport Township Park District Community Center, which was Ordinance 17012. And then we had Red Zone Robotics Sanitary Sewer Televising, Resolution 17044. So I'm looking for a motion to pass our consent agenda.
Make a motion.
Second.
That's Alderwoman Bartleson, seconded by Alderman Deskin. Can I have a roll call, Alice?
Yes. Alderman Petracos?
Yes.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Deskin?
Yes.
Alderman Vandermeer?
Yes.
Alderman Peretta?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bartleson.
Yes.
6 yeas, motion carried.
Now, Alice, did you want to make a motion?
I do, please, yes. Looking for a motion to approve the executive session meeting minutes from April 5th, 2017, as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you. And the second one that I have is the Resolution 17045. It's the review and release, as we discussed in the Committee of the Whole, from January 2011 through December 2013. Looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay. All right, Ben and Tom, who wants to take AT1?
Mayor, members of the council, we have two public hearings this evening for annexations that have been initiated by the city. Mr. Mayor, it'd be appropriate to open up the public hearings on those. I believe you have a statement you'd like to present.
Okay. So, the City Council will be conducting two public hearings this evening on the annexation agreements for two city-initiated annexations in the commercial corridor of 159th Street. The first public hearing involves an annexation agreement for the property owned by Lockport Tavern LLC, known as Rocco's Pub, at 16716 West 159th Street. Before we invite members of the public to the podium to comment on the proposed annexation agreement, I will ask city staff to provide a summary of the annexation agreement and the zoning classification for the property. After the staff reports on the proposed annexation, I will invite any member of the public to the podium to comment on the annexation agreement. Please give your name, and you may provide your address so we know your proximity to the property. City staff will be available to answer any questions from the public. After the members of the public have an opportunity to be heard, I will close the hearing and then ask the city council members to ask any questions they may have regarding the annexation and zoning, and then make comments and ask questions to the city staff and anyone who testified during the public hearing. Once the city council has had an opportunity to make its comments, I will ask for a motion to vote on the resolution approving the annexation agreement and a separate motion for the approval of the annexation of the property and a motion to approve the zoning. So once we complete the vote on Rocco's Pub annexation agreement, we'll follow the same process for the second annexation agreement involving the house and business at 16360 West 159th Street and owned by a land trust known as the Standard Bank and Trust Company, trust number 7157. So I will now ask the staff to make its presentation on the first annexation agreement.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, as we mentioned at the committee of the whole meeting, the city made contact with the property owners for the purpose of assisting them through the annexation process, recommending that they consent to the annexation so we can help prepare those parcels for potential development as the 159th Street commercial corridor continues with development. As you saw this evening with the Panera project, it's clear that new businesses are coming. These are parcels that are on the north side of 159th Street. The city surrounds these properties that have already been annexed. These are properties that have been in unincorporated Will County for quite some time, and our recommendation is to proceed with the annexation. The annexations consist of approval of an annexation agreement. The first one would be Rocco's Pub, and as I mentioned at the last meeting, there's a liquor license that is involved with this particular annexation. The city will be taking over jurisdiction for liquor licensing and controls regarding hours of operation and any of the other rules that we have. As I did mention at the last meeting, though, the current licensee has an extra hour license from the county currently, and the annexation agreement allows the extra hour to continue in existence. The city staff is recommending that we proceed with the public hearing this evening on Rocco's Pub. At the close of the public hearing, we're asking you to vote in favor of resolution number 17-040, which is the annexation agreement, and then approve the two ordinances that actually annex the property and zone it.
All right, very good. Anyone from the public have any comments? Council? Okay. All right, very good. So then we're looking to have a motion to approve Resolution 17040.
So moved.
Alderman Petracco, seconded by Alderman Vandermeer. Do we need a roll call on this? Can I have a roll call, Alice?
Yes. Alderman Petracos?
Yes.
Alderman Capadona is absent. Alderman Galogly is absent. Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Deskin?
Yes.
Alderman Vandermeer?
Yes.
Alderman Perretta?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bartleson?
Yes.
6 yeas, motion carried.
All right, and then we need a motion to approve ordinance 17009.
I make the motion?
Second.
All right, Bartleson and Perretta. Another roll call, please?
Yes. Petracos?
Yes.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Deskin?
Yes.
Alderman Vandermeer?
Yes.
Alderman Perretta?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bartleson?
Yes.
6 yeas, motion carried.
All right, and the last one on this public hearing is looking for a motion to approve ordinance number 17010.
So moved.
Second.
So Bartleson and Deskin, or not Bartleson.
no.
That was
Petracca, sorry.
Petracos?
Deeper.
A little deeper voice,
Greek guy,
yes.
Greek guy at the end.
Thank you.
Alderman Petracos?
Yes.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Deskin?
Yes.
Alderman Vandermeer?
Yes.
Alderman Perretta?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bartleson?
Yes.
6 yeas, motion carried.
Okay, then we'll bring this first public hearing to a close. And we'll open up the second public hearing, and this is for the Krasinski property annexation. at 16360 West 159th Street. So, same, you want to talk a little bit about it?
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, the council memo showing a personal residence of the Krasinski's on this parcel closest to 159th Street, and then a body shop behind it in a separate building. The annexation agreement allows the Krasinski's to continue using the property for current uses, both as a personal residence and as a body shop in the back. Staff's recommendation is to approve the annexation agreement and then approve ordinances number 17-007 and 17-008, which would then annex and provide C3 commercial zoning for this parcel also. I believe the attorney for the Krasinski's is present this evening. If you have any questions, I don't believe Mr. Dundas is present. And if you have any questions of him, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer them, but the property owner's been very cooperative in the process after the city contacted them.
Okay, any questions for? All right, any public comments? Okay, then we'll move forward with looking for a motion to approve Resolution 17039.
So moved.
It's Brian
Second.
and Joanne.
Alderman Petracos?
Yes.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Deskin?
Yes.
Alderman Vandermeer?
Yes.
Alderman Perretta?
Yes.
And Alderwoman Bartleson.
Yes.
6 yeas, motion carried.
All right, next we're looking for a motion to approve ordinance 17007.
Make a motion?
Second.
Yep, Joanne and Darren. Another roll call, please.
Yes. Alderman Petracos?
Yes.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Deskin?
Yes.
Alderman Vandermeer?
Yes.
Alderman Perretta?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bartleson.
Yes.
All right.
6 yeas.
And lastly, we have ordinance number 17008.
Make a motion to accept?
Joanne,
Second?
seconded by Mr. Perretta, and a roll call.
Alderman Petracos?
Yes.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Deskin?
Yes.
Alderman Vandermeer?
Yes.
Alderman Perretta?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bartleson.
Yes.
6 yeas, motion carried.
All right, very good. Thanks, and we'll close all that public hearing, and very good. Thanks for the work.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I have the next item also. It's ordinance number 17-011. It's approval of an amendment to a special use ordinance for the 355 Corporate Center. This is the Panatone project that started a couple of years ago. At that time, in 2015, the city council approved an annexation agreement that replaced the original annexation agreement that was approved in 2009 and later amended in 2011. Part of that process in 2011 included a provision that prohibited parcel delivery establishments. When we were working with Panatone on the project, the users were not known. It later came to being that UPS secured one of the buildings and is now it's building one with its operation. There is some question as to whether the intent of the city council back in 2011 was to prohibit a use like that. Duke Realty is looking at purchasing the property from Panatone. The annexation agreement that was approved by the city council in 2015 did not carry over the prohibited uses that were put in place in 2011, but the PUD ordinance is still in effect, and what we're asking the council to do is to make the PUD ordinance consistent with the annexation agreement and eliminate parcel delivery establishment as a prohibited use, and further define a truck terminal in the agreement. So we are not, so Duke Realty can move forward with its purchase of the property and the financing it needs to purchase. Staff's recommendation is to approve the ordinance as presented. We'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Mr. Will Freeve from Duke Realty, who was here at your last meeting, is also present today. If you have any questions, I know he'd be happy to answer them.
All right, any questions, concerns?
No, I'll make the motion to accept staff recommendation.
Okay.
One second, I got a question.
Yeah, we can do our motion, so we need to.
Do the motion, second.
And then a second with Jim.
Second.
All right,
Thank you.
all right. Jim, you got a question?
Sorry. Point of order. Just a quick, I know that last time we had a question about doing one building versus all three, but I think maybe it's a bigger question, Pam. partial delivery as we're thinking it in our head, like UPS, or anybody else coming in, they allowed to add any of these buildings, right? ML Realty, are they allowed to, at the Exeter, are they allowed at the new Prologis? So we can theoretically have everybody move in a lot of these places? Or are they restricted in all of our other?
I think at the time that Exeter came in, the only discussion was about a truck terminal. Parcel delivery was not included. And with ML, I do not believe that there's any prohibited uses. They use a combination of the old O2 and the M1 at the time that the project originally came in. So they would be allowed any of the permitted and special uses listed.
I mean, I'm a fan of the UPS, I'm a fan of the use that's there. I am afraid of all the trucks and all the truck traffic that's gonna happen there and just compounding of the next two buildings. But with knowing that it could be anywhere else in the city at any other places, I mean, it's why limit it right now, so I'm fine with it as is. But some forethought when we do other developments, we're looking at it.
All right. Any other thoughts, questions? Okay. Can I have a roll call then?
Yes. Alderman Petrakos?
Yes.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Deskin?
Yes.
Alderman Vandermeer?
Yes.
Alderman Perretta?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bartleston?
Yes.
6 yeas, motion carried.
All right, and Tommy, you want to take this last one?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, item 18-3, resolution number 17-046. It's a resolution approving the settlement agreement between the city of Lockport and Edward Electric. Edward Electric Company put streetlights in the Prime Boulevard subdivision. Prime Boulevard Business Campus is where we have our public works facility. We, through the approval process back in the early and mid-2000s, required the developer to put full public improvements in, including streetlights. The owner of the development contracted with Edward Electric to put the streetlights in. The streetlights were completed in 2013, but apparently the owner of the property defaulted in the payment to the contractor for the streetlights. The letter of credit that was posted by the developer to secure performance of the public improvements was in place last year. Because of the default of the public improvements, the city drew down on the letter of credit and actually received money from the bank, and we received about $560,000 to complete the public improvements. Back in 2015, a lawsuit was filed by Edward Electric to try to preserve its lien that it had filed in 2013 after it did its work in the subdivision. And what we've done is negotiate the payment of the money that we received from the letter of credit to pay for public improvements. We've agreed to pay, or recommending payment of $65,000 to Edward Electric, which would satisfy the city's obligation. The cost of the streetlights and the work was actually more, but Edward Electric has agreed to accept that amount from the city. The actual amount, the cost was $112,000. Edward Electric still has a remedy against the original developer, but this will end the city's involvement. Our recommendation is to approve it. We have $360,000 left on the letter of credit. Amy Wagner did some paving in the subdivision and some other public improvements last summer after we received the proceeds. But with the payment of the $65,000, it will still leave about $302,000 for future public improvements, which we believe will cover what's left to be done in the subdivision. Our recommendation is to approve the settlement agreement that's been presented.
All right, looking for a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Any questions, concerns? Good compromise, Tom? Good job.
My recommendation is to accept the settlement agreement. Edward Electric obviously compromised too. And for us, and I don't want to treat this as somebody else's money, but it is money that came from a letter of credit that was posted by the developer. So we have segregated these funds. They're earmarked for this business campus and can't really be used elsewhere in the city. The developer did put in streetlights that are ours, and he's obviously asking to be paid for them through litigation. There's compromise all the time, and we thought this was a fair amount.
All right, very good. Looking for a roll call?
Alderwoman Bartleson?
Yes.
Alderman Beretta?
Yes.
Alderman Vandermeer?
Yes.
Alderman Deskin?
Yes.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Petracos?
Yes.
6 yeas, motion carried.
With that, we won't need, I say, we won't need the litigation for executive session.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
We will not, you said?
No, since we've go ahead and voted on that without any problem.
Ryan's very disappointed.
And,
All right, any other, any new business, anything else?
I think we might have, no, forgot about Pastor Lou. Was he supposed to give us some blessings here?
Oh, no, that was, Steve came up and did our
Oh,
prayer.
okay, okay, all right.
Lou sits quietly back there and prays for us all while we.
I'd like to go on record that I wish Brent was here 3 years ago, because that was a 1-hour meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brent,
Because Brent was here.
put it all on you there.
All right, everyone.
Welcome aboard.
All right, good job tonight. Looking for motion to adjourn.
Make a motion?
Second?
All right, Bartleson, Beretta, all in favor?
Aye.